Test. Okay. That's one. Okay. Let's edit.
You can also pull up your old video. Yeah, you can pull up your old video and just copy and paste the description from there.
We're doing it this way.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess my friends are going to tell me if this is working, right?
Send me your link. I'll take a look.
Yeah. And we will go off of OBS. Yeah, okay. It's completely working. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to leave this call with my friend who is supporting me in this, and they can just watch it like a normal person. Take care. Alrighty then. Let's get started trying the entire thing a second time, right? We're doing the entire thing over again now. So, this is it. This is it, right? I will open up my live stream, and I will actually be open to... I will actually be open to seeing what people say about me in the live stream. If I can figure my life out stream. Jeez, this is a mess. This is a wonderful mess. Okay, I guess I'm going to be resetting the live stream to make this a decent video, but that's fine. Yes. Close. It's fine. I'm just going to start the rant. I will ask you, my friend, is this live still? And you will answer me. Okay, great. Great. Okay, I have no ability to read the chat. We're just going to make it work then. Heck yeah. And I will turn on streamer mode so I don't get a ton of notifications while I'm doing this. And let's go. Okay, so, let's go with being an internet micro celebrity, but this is it. This is it. Yeah, everything that I thought was going to happen insofar as a third swap, it's right now. This is it. Let's open up TradingView and look at it. Like, we are below the asset value of the company. It is 1 month after the where the red swap was supposed to occur. It is the exact swap timeline off of when the... Yeah, it's the exact swap timeline off of when the purple swap ended up happening instead of the red swap. And I got nothing else to say other than this is it, right? So let's dive into deep for what this is, okay? How can I support people in that then? Let's start with understanding how these models work then in this little encapsulation. So, a breakdown of it, we are either suppressed or we are not suppressed insofar as this model is concerned, okay? If we are suppressed, we track the yellow. If we're unsuppressed, we track the green. If this is the red swap, then typically speaking, after the red swap, and I'll show this in my trading view, after the red swap, we typically go through ETF refillment. Red swap, or purple swap now, but red swap, ETF refillment. Red swap, that's pink, my bad. Red swap, ETF refillment. I'm going to delete this purple because there was no swapinator activity actually. Red swap, a squeeze, and ETF refillment. So, I believe this is it. I believe this is the time where we refill ETFs. What I don't believe is that I don't believe we are in a full-on short squeeze scenario, but I do believe we're full-on ETF refillment, okay? And if you look at my trades, I'm already knee deep into trades that require ETF, not even ETF fulfillment. Just I'm knee deep into a trade that massively benefits off of ETF fulfillment happening. If ETF fulfillment happens, we go to around 32 a share, and this trade results in like 2 point, like 2 million. That's batshit crazy. But I will also point out how I entered that trade a week and a half ago. And while I failed to make the video properly the first time, so I'm doing it live this time, the swap days, I did not have faith in. I entered this trade a week and a half early. I have seen the price for the option that I own right here go as low as 40 cents to trade for, and I paid 59 cents for it. And so full on, look what happens if I end up paying, let's say 4.5 for these. And then we take this, we take the number, and we set it equivalent to this over 100. And this goes to, this is a ref error, so this gets set equivalent to this times this times 100. What am I referencing wrong here? I do so wish that I did my things properly here. The quantity is equivalent to the cost basis divided by the price per share divided by 100. Perfect. There we go. If I am right about this, but I picked it up on the wrong day, it's about $500,000 less dollars. And so, while I am fully committed to this, I already have lessons of what I've done wrong so far. I had no faith in my swap days. I entered the trade way too early, and in future, I'm entering plus or minus 3 days on my swap days and not getting anxious about what's going to happen or what won't happen, and entering these trades early. If you look at the swap day itself on my model, I actually have a completely honest remark saying, hey yo, what the fuck? We are below the asset value of the company. That's not something we do here. The 2x cash floor, it can break down. It really can break down on the 2x cash floor, but it doesn't break down by this much typically. This is a good 30 cents below. Okay. What else have we got here? I can do an explanation of how to comprehend the FTD chart, not the FTD chart, the ETF chart and the model chart and the echo chart. So let's start with the ETF chart. The ETF chart is catching in its modeling ETF creation and redemption. And I will tell you that ETF creation and redemption is a great sign of volatility. It's not a great sign of directionality. And so what I've been doing is I've been watching this ETF creation and redemption chart, and I will cross-reference it with, if you open up my model, I have the swapinator right below it. And so when I see a massive jump on ETF creation and redemption, I take that as volatility, plain and simple. And then I verify that with the swapinator. If I see upwards movement predicted, then I might pick up a position. I really might if I see the ETF model predicting upwards movement. But if the upwards movement is tracked as a swap in the swapinator, as it does in this specific date, let's go ahead and correlate the specific dates instead of just saying it. This day is July 2nd. July 2nd. Okay, perfect. July 2nd, the swapinator is going off. We're not actually tracking with the underlying baskets. And so I would get out of this position if I was in any call position on the 2nd, because while the ETF model is a great sign that volatility is coming, it's not a great sign of what direction we're going in. And so here, right here, for us, right now, ETF model says up. I don't believe it. We are in swap mode. This upwards movement is going to crash us further, more than likely. I believe we're going to keep crashing through the 27th. I believe we might even keep crashing through the 28th. I believe by the 30th and the 31st, we're going to start going up. And I believe by the 5th, the full model is going to take over. Because what happens in the full model is the echo model is added in. So what is the echo model? The echo model is taking T plus 33, and it is adding up all the failures to deliver that are ramping up over time. Like, you can see the failures to deliver here. You can see how GameStop in you actually notice how GameStop's failures to deliver are pretty low, but GMEU, yeah, when you leverage on GameStop, it's really, really tempting actually to failure to deliver. And it just adds up. And so this echo model is pulsing with failures to deliver between swap days. And so when we have a swap, we look like this. When we don't have a swap, we look like this. And when the ETF model goes up too high, the stock tends to go up. And so what does this look like? Well, I have a thing that explains it pretty well. I would love to properly open up the memes that I'm looking for. Here we go. Here we go. This is what explains it. Thump. T plus 33. T plus 33. T plus 33. T plus 33. And something comes on the horizon. And like, do I expect that we're going to short squeeze this time? I actually don't. I don't actually expect that we're going to full on short squeeze this time. What I do expect is it's time. It's time for ETF fulfillment. We just had the red swap. There's a possibility of ETF fulfillment. Is my trade set up in such a way where I only make money if we enter ETF fulfillment? Hell no. If I grab this suppression question mark and I say yes, we're suppressed the entire time, then my full model, all of the echo model just caps out at 27. But I set up my trade such that if we only cap out at 27, I'm still making quite a bit of money off of this trade. And I am overjoyed with that. And so, yes, this is it. I full well expect this is the swap. I full well expect that after the swap we see a rally. I full well expect that after the red swap we typically see ETF fulfillment. No, I'm not putting my shirt on the line to demand ETF fulfillment or go bust. But yes, I have a massive amount of money staked on us seeing upwards movement after the swap here. Around November 5th is when I expect to actually see anything of value out of this trade. And so I'm exposed to this trade in a big way. And that's okay. That's great, actually. So let's go into, instead of just the echo model, and instead of just the ETF model, let's take a look at what this full model does. Okay? So, what have I got here? The full model, if you are suppressed, is taking max pain, and as of late, I've been replacing max pain with the call walls, and it is saying that we are going to be ending on max pain because Richard Newton believed firmly that we are going to end on max pain just about every week when we're suppressed, give or take. My personal opinion is that these call walls that show up in the options chain are very, very hard to overcome when you're suppressed. And so I've been punching in the call walls instead because I firmly believe that this is what's blocking us more than anything else. And so I'll say, hey, on the 24th, where's our call wall? Right here at 23 a share. And so I'll go in and I'll write 23 a share into 1024. Then I'll go to 1031. We'll go to 1031. We'll say, where's the call wall? It starts at 24 a share. Yes, there's something at 20 a share, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're not going to end below 20 a share. So it starts at 24 a share. So we'll go in. We'll say, hey, on the 31st, 24 a share. And like, this is how the max pain for this is set up by me, for me to be confident in what it says. The 2x cash per share, just imported from it's from the cash page, and it's just taking the reported numbers and putting them out. Now there is a ton of information here on this cash page that basically isn't needed. What I was trying to do is project how much assets and how much cash is available on each and every given day for the reported cash. But honestly, we've completely blown under any of that prediction, and it's a completely useless metric accordingly. So honestly, the 2x cash per share is probably only useful for telling me when should I be buying hand over fist. And that's now. So, once again, this is it for me. This is where I think we bottom out. What else is still pending? What else still hasn't been explained? Yeah, I make mistakes. I've lost 300K doing this, in this trade here. I made a lot more than that when I was trading on shares beforehand. I encourage anyone getting into this, don't fucking trade options. Trade shares. Hell, on the cash page, I have a great floor for buying and a great ceiling for selling. It's all there. Um, I have FTDs here in case anyone's interested in the data, and I make all my sheets available for anyone to download if they're interested. And then I have here a fundamental analysis, which I should probably walk through. What I do is I assume that revenue is going to continue to shrink, number of stores is going to continue to shrink, and that given the given ratios of how much SG&A and how much how can I say this? I assume that the given ratios of how much money we're making per revenue are going to stay the same, and I just project this out forward. And with this most recent profitable quarter, if this keeps up, we end up with 1.07 diluted dollars per share made in the next calendar year before Q1 2026, which we would find out on Q2 2026. So on Q2 2026, when the warrants expire on Q3, if we have a 15x PE ratio on that earnings, which is an 8.7 billion market cap, and then we add on the cash, which is going to make a massive percentage of the company onto that, we come to, at a 15x PE ratio, about 18 billion diluted value of the company, or about 33 per share. And so I do think the warrants will come in the money. And so I'm open to the idea of owning warrants in the long term myself, because fact of the matter is I don't actually think we're going to continue massively shrinking the company and cutting costs forever. I think this is going to slow. I think the shrinking of the company is going to slow, and that we will hit a level of stability here with the growth being focused in collectibles. What am I missing? Because doing this a second time makes it very hard to keep track of what I've done and what I haven't done. I only have one other thing that I think would serve people to see before I start to see if I can't open up the actual fucking chat feature on YouTube and like see what's going on. And it is that I have one graph which supports in showing why I don't think we're going to squeeze, and it is a compression and risk reduction count for swaps, and we are not, in so far as how swaps are trading, reducing risk, and so I don't think it's time for us to squeeze. If they were low on margin and they thought they were going to get margin called, they would have started reducing risk going into this cycle. All I think that's going to happen is ETF fulfillment. I don't think we're going to actually blow this out the top. Okay? Okay. Now give me a minute. I'm going to try to open up YouTube externally, open up my own dang live stream externally incognito. Jeez. And I am going to see if anybody wants anything and if I can do anything for anyone in chat. Okay. Heck yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? And if not, I'll close this down. Okay, silly. You can have a forehead pat. Here you go. There you go. Perfect. So, I'm going to call this. I will... Oh, Ivy. Yes. So, my opinion on Ivy is that swaps are a contract, like any other. They're a harder to trade contract, and Ivy is being artificially suppressed into making a large trade on an option, which is a swap. And so having an artificially low IV does benefit for if you're trying to enter a large swap contract as a counterparty. It also benefits me in picking up cheap calls. Okay. I believe IV will recover when they're not rotating swaps. And so it actually makes... I mean, my calls are going to be expiring very, very soon, so the IV doesn't do much for me, but it is useful to know. Will the warrants overhang... What? Will warrants be overhang at $32? I do not comprehend what that question is, actually. Why do you think we still go down for another few days if the swap date was today? I believe the swapinator is blowing up today. I believe today would only be happening if we were actively in a swap, but my ETF model shows volatility, and the volatility hasn't stopped. And so until the volatility stops, I don't think we're out of this. If I should pull up the full model, and I pull up the exact day, let's go over here. Let's go over here where it's not curved and rounded and such. If I go over here, where the last time we saw a purple swap, it was a double top predicted. If I go over here to the next purple swap, I see a double top. I believe the max, the peak of the suppression is probably on the 27th then, exactly between the double top, just like it was last time for the previous purple swap. And so I have every expectation that this is the next swap date instead of the 22nd. But like, it's just what the model says. What helped me determine that there was a purple swap? Okay, so it's not that I determined it. It is how I am trading. It is my own opinion. So previously speaking, there was a theory in Richard Newton's charts saying that there is a possibility that the red swap was closed. Okay, and then if you check the swapinator on the day that we were supposed to receive the red swap, 1 second, let me pull up the exact day. Right here, no swap activity. There's no divergence from the basket. 1 month later, we see it, right? And so if I grab the swap to swap gap and I place it down, no red swap, just none. There's no swap activity here. And we have a rally during this time. If I then place that same gap and I place it on this purple area right here, that is supposed to be the bottom for that swap, we end up with today. We end up with the, hey yo, what the fuck day. And so far as Ultimators, Lady Gobble, and it predicting squeezes, right? For predicting a squeeze, we usually suppress as hard as we possibly can into the squeeze, right? And so, do I think GameStop is the reason someone gets margin call? Maybe. I mean, that's entirely possible. But what I don't think is happening is I don't think somebody is actually exiting. If someone gets margin called, they're getting margin called for it all at this point, because I haven't seen any swaps get their risk reduced. I showed the chart a minute ago for what it looks like when swaps are getting their amount of risk outstanding reduced, and that was the only thing that I found was notable and had any given like correlation or interest for predicting squeezes. And so I don't think we're squeezing myself. Yeah. And I could be wrong on that. I mean, I'm set up to make a fuck ton of money if I'm wrong on that, but it doesn't really support me to pretend. I mean, Warren Kitty could tweet, and if he did tweet, it would blow up my entire indicator, and it would make me make a lot of money. But I'm not under an impression it's going to happen. I'm under an impression that it's going to be a slow process. And I'm a trader. I'm a gambling degenerate. But what I'm not is I'm not demanding the savior of someone else, right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm open to questions. I am up to some silliness here, it seems. I have more people watching me than I anticipated, but yeah, that happens. That tends to happen in life. Blowing up as an internet micro celebrity is weird. Y'all are adorable, by the way. Like, I filmed a video of me ranting about my schizo models in a ducky onesie, and then I get 3,000 people looking at me, and it's like, well, this is embarrassing. I don't mind, though. Yeah. What do I think? What do I think? What is still open? Like, I'm open to streaming. I'm open to, like, being present. I'm open to caring. I just don't have anything that I am still pending. Like, I can talk about the changes I made to these charts. So, Some interesting things that I've done to these charts that Richard did not have done is that I have moved all of the GameStop failures to deliver onto the FTD sheet, and then I have added in IGME, GMU, and GMEY onto the failures to deliver, and then on the data panel, all I do is take a summation of the FTD panel for these. And then on top of that, I also double count GMEU because GMEU being 2x leverage, I expect a failure to deliver on GMEU is a failure to deliver on two of the underlying because it's leveraged. I don't know, but like, welcome to modeling. It's not real. It's just a model, and it's a good enough model that I'm willing to stake my money. I'm willing to bet, but like, understand that once again, yeah, I'm willing to bet, but I'm also willing to lose. Don't blow yourself up if you can't handle it. Right. What else have I got? What else have I got? Shenanigans mostly. I have got shenanigans. So let's talk about that. I am a very silly man for trading options, right? Let's start with that concept. Options are not a modality of trading that benefits an individual. They are they are very, very silly. So what I have done is I have picked a strike price where the Echo model says I would make money. I have picked a strike price where if we don't enter ETF refillment like I thought, I would make money. But if I am completely wrong about ETF refillment, I'm going to blow up the entire underlying basis no matter what I do because they're strike fucking 25s. Okay, these are not strike 20s. It's just I'm double or nothing on, actually triple or nothing on 180k of calls on GameStop like a little degenerate. Look, if you ask me directly what you should do, I'm going to tell you outright. I'm not supposed to give you direct advice. I will tell you what I would do, but it's shenanigans. I would do shenanigans. I would do lucky bastard fuckery. But what I'm doing is very silliness. So I like the idea of holding warrants, but I also like the idea of getting it while the getting's good. And so if I was still holding warrants, yeah, if I saw 30 a share on my models, I'd be getting rid of them. That sounds nice. I like money. I like money. Now, this like slam downwards, by the way, is assuming that we dilute in response to how can I say this? The slam downwards is assuming that we dilute in response to hitting 30 something a share because we typically do dilute in response to going up. And so I say that we're just going to go right back to suppression because if we dilute, we re-enter suppression usually. Like that's what happened in, what day was this? June 10th or 12th? Yeah. We re-entered suppression mode in response to dilution. And so my full anticipation is, hey, we randomly hit 30, 32, something like that. We dilute, slam back down, and now we're back to the doldrums of like, I mean, it says 22.8, but if I take the cash model and then I artificially say, hey, we have diluted, let's say, oh god, I'd have to learn math. I don't want to learn math right now, but like, I could say we dilute. Let's see what happened last time we diluted. We went from 305 to 426, and we gained 3 billion. And so if we added, let's say, 125 to the market cap, I could add 3 billion in new cash. Let's say I do that. If I change this number right now to 580, and then I say in new cash 3,000 because that's 3 billion, what does the model say? I would need to pull this up as well. Yes, this is very, very pain in my buddy. Okay, it's not going to work out for me. I would have to like give it time and effort to get that proper. So I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly what we would go to if we dilute. Yes, I actually do have, and I said this before, but I actually do have GMEY on the failure to deliver list. I do not have it on ETF creation and redemption because, let me just show you this. Okay, it's going to have 25,000 shares outstanding. I just hit Shift Enter instead of Enter. 1 second. Okay, there. Yeah, 25,000 shares outstanding. It doesn't change. It just doesn't change. And so, yeah, there's nothing useful in ETF creation or redemption for GMEY for me. There is in FTD land if I'm assuming that what they're doing is they're using the iGME and GMEY, which are options trading ETFs, and then they're taking those, they're failing to deliver on the underlying, and then printing options for nothing apparently. If that's possible, which, I mean, there's FTDs, so maybe it is, then I could definitely see a world where IV gets crushed by them printing options with no underlying basis, which is a little silly. But I mostly think that the IV being crushed is a result of swaps being an option and them needing to crush IV in order to get a good price on their swaps. Yeah. Do I have anything else? No, I don't. Y'all are silly though, by the way. I do want to point out, people hitting me up at random is very, very silly. Getting like micro celebrity is very, very silly. What makes me think that volatility is going to be here? I mean, because it echoes. Like, what happens is, and this is my theory on what happens, is we have failures to deliver shares, and then every T plus 33, those failures to deliver come live. They become a problem. And when those failures to deliver are a problem, they're a fucking problem. And so I'm tracking the clearing of the failures to deliver and not clearing of the failures to deliver. And when they're not cleared, they come back in T plus 33. And that's the majority of this model, is when I hit yes on this, we track max pain. We really do just track max pain. And then we track a little bit of the failures to deliver, just like this, on this lower chart. When I say no, we start clearing ETF model. We start pushing things through. We start really getting some actual covering of their ETF basis that they owed. And so I don't actually know what we end up with on the green model, to be honest, because we always overshoot it if we actually overshoot it. But right now, the amount of FTDs that they owe on the echoes is adding up to 35 a share. And if I saw 35 a share, I'd be pretty happy. If I saw anything over 30, I'd be pretty happy to get rid of some of this stuff. Eugener, you worry me if you say that you're going to go and trade degenerate options in response to me trading degenerate options. I just want you to understand that. I don't mind if you trade degenerate options. It's not my problem if you blow up your entire portfolio. This isn't, I mean, fuck it. This is financial advice, and it's the worst financial advice you'll ever hear. Go blow up your entire account, please. It would be hilarious. I'm going to do it too at that point, but we'll blow up our entire fucking investment accounts together. I mean, okay. What do I still have pending, though? Yeah, this is it. This is everything I do for everyone I love, which is all of you on some level. This is an obvious swap event where we cross below our cash floor. This is shenanigans that I didn't even think were possible. Here, let me get back in view. Nah. And this is fun, you know? It's just pure fun. That's it. Alright. I'm going to end the stream. Y'all take care. I have to figure out how to end the stream, by the way. I'll just do it on OBS, actually. I have no clue when my next stream is. I was supposed to post a video, but it didn't record audio, so I was just like, screw it, we'll go live right now. And I started, like, updating this model the day that Richard Newton left, because I was like, oh, my trading model's gone. I was using that. And so I stole his entire thing. I'm a blatant thief, and I love it. Alright. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Let me know if there's anything I can do to support you. I know people have been, like, tracking me down. You're welcome to track me down. Just, like, I know I'm weird. Don't be cringe. Let me know if I can do anything for you. Questions are fine, usually. It's just silliness, though. This is very, very silly. Alrighty, then. Let me see if I can figure out how to stop streaming now. Stay safe. Take care, y'all. Have a